here down below Owensboro, Kentucky. And the trumpet has not sounded, the dead in Christ have not risen, we which are alive and remain have not yet been taken. And can you believe it? We are still here waiting on the trump of God to sound, and that day is getting closer and closer. We can see things happening around us that tell us that we are close. All right, hope everybody can hear me okay. I'm on Facebook Live over here, and I'm on YouTube Live over here. We are 1 hour earlier than normal because I have to go out for a little bit this evening, and I got an errand I've got to make. My daughter is here. She got back Wednesday afternoon or evening, something like that, and she's been having some rough nights, pain from the broken leg. Esther is the girl who answers the phone most of the time, the 800 number. And so pray for her. Pray that we can get her back on her feet as quickly as possible. And all right, good to see everybody. And I can see Ramona's here, Sean is here, Jonah from the Philippines is here, Alana is here, and everyone can hear me. Okay, tonight, here's what we're going to discuss this evening. We're going to discuss part 2 of Is America Headed for Civil War? Now, part 1 was on Thursday, if you were here, and we had a good crowd. We had a lot of people watch that one, and it really could be getting ready to happen. It really could. Now, there's a new development that I want to share with you. And but before I do, let me just restate something. We are in need of an RV for my home here. We're going to hook it up right out here, and we need to build a studio. We need to make a studio out of it. It can be a pull behind. It can be a Class C, Class A, motorized. So let us know if you have something. Now I do have one possibly on the hook. A gentleman that I've spoken to before contacted me, and pretty much I think it's going to work, but we're not 100% yet. So I thought I'd go ahead and keep this out there. There may be a technical problem. We may not be able to get the one that he has. He's checking on the title, so I don't know. I'm hoping it works out, and I'm all excited about it. I'm trying not to get my hopes up. But I thought I'd go ahead and mention it again, just in case that one falls through. We have a need. This would be very helpful. I'm looking at another network now. I'm looking at actually going on some shows live. What do you think of that? Like we're live tonight. There's a network that one of my people sent me. They want me to think about it and talk to them about it. It's a network that has some possibilities of going live on their network around the country. That's very interesting to me, especially with the prophecy world. Being able to be live on the spot instead of recording, and it shows a week or two later it airs. So in that case, this mobile studio sitting right here would be very helpful. And pray about it. If God has touched your heart and you think you'd like to do that, contact us. We'd love to hear from you. And okay, all right. Again, there is a possibility that we have one, but don't count your chickens yet, right? There could be a technicality, and I'm hoping there's not, but it's possible. And but anyway, I'll keep you posted as soon as I know something for sure. And we got Little Rock listening in tonight. We got Cynthia. Gary Dice, Dr. Gary Dice is on here. He's waiting on a heart transplant. Pray for him. He could pass into glory literally any moment. He needs a heart. And pray for him. Van Buren, Arkansas is here tonight. Marvin. And hey, Todd Willoughby, Poplar Bluff, Missouri. He and I had had a cup of coffee at McDonald's one day, and I got to meet him. That's been a few years now, Todd. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, so here's the thing: we did a show. We did a show about is civil war coming to America. By the way, this is January 29th, 2024. It is now 7:37 p.m. Central Standard Time. We came on an hour early because I've got to get out of here within a few minutes. I've got an appointment, and the just can't be helped at the moment. Got to go, but I thought I'd come on early and just be brief and share something that came along. Goodness, we got Conway, Arkansas. We got two Arkansas people here. Conway, Arkansas is on. Okay. Um, I found something interesting not long after we did the show on Thursday. It might have been the next day. I don't remember, but I talk about AI, talk about them listening to us. I saw an advertisement for a movie. Guess what the movie's called? It's coming out, I think, in March, just 2 months from now. Guess what the name of the movie is? Civil War. Yeah, Civil War. I watched the trailer for it. Um, what's going on here? I mean, it's like they already have planned this thing. It's like they know it's what's going. Is that just coincidence? How many of you believe in coincidences? I quit believing in coincidences a long time ago. Um, that's just strange to me. There's another movie coming out too. I forget the name of it, but I believe the Obamas have something to do with this other movie. In fact, it may be that one. I can't be sure, but um, strange stuff. So let's say this does happen. Let's say that the federal government threatens Texas, tells them stand down, or else we're going to open fire. What if it happens? And Texas says that's it. We are at war with the government. We are breaking off. I want you to think of a couple scenarios here. First of all, I want you to be thinking about what that means for your livelihood, you and your family. I'm talking about gasoline. I'm talking about getting food at the grocery store. I'm talking about your finances. I'm talking about your bank account. You say, well, I'm not in Texas. That doesn't matter. It's going to have a ripple effect. It's going to cause, if it happens, it's a pretty serious thing. It isn't every day that the federal government blows up Americans. Now, it happened. Ruby Ridge, they shot a man's wife staying in the door. The place in Texas, remember that? What was the name of that place where all them people burned inside that building there? Remember that? Federal government did that. Lots of that kind of stuff in our history. So be thinking about that. What if it ultimately does happen? You need to be prepared for some hard times. Thank you, Van Branch Davidians, Waco, Texas. I remember it. I remember they parked one of the military vehicles. They parked it on top of this escape tunnel thing, and the people couldn't get out. They literally burned them to death. Um, just shocking stuff like that. Government did that. And by the way, we got 16 people on each, 16 YouTubers and 16 Facebookers. What's the chances of that? And Saint Doug is in Texas. Um, so I want you to think about that. Be ready. Always be ready. Always have some. Always be a prepper. Always be a prep. Have canned goods. Have non-perishable goods. If you don't have access to water, have some water stored. Water is one of the most important things. Ammunition, so that's probably number two, and right there with food, right? So be prepared because this will cause probably maybe a stock market crash if it should happen. By the way, with that will most likely come martial law throughout the country. And by the way, that's the end of the elections, kind of, isn't it? Won't be no elections. That benefit. Guess who that benefits? So be prepared for whatever that brings about. By the way, the truckers are on the way to Texas right now. Last word I got was several hours ago that it was 20 miles long. The truckers, the convoy, and wouldn't I like to be there? I've got a pickup truck, and I saw in the video I saw a lot of people in pickup trucks that were in this line, and I thought, man, wouldn't it be great to be down there? I actually thought, of course, my daughter's laid up, my wife wouldn't be able to come, and so probably not a good time right now. But I thought, man, I could do live stream. We could do some interviews. It would have been really something. Now, if I'll tell you what, if I had that RV that this gentleman wants to give us, I may have considered driving that down there. We could have just lived in it, and we could have done some interviews. We could have had a time. But there may be time for another one of those. We'll see. So, if something does break out between the federal government and Texas and maybe some other states, be advised. More than likely, martial law will be that martial law preempts the Constitution technically, and the president becomes a sitting dictator. He kind of is now, or at least the guy that's actually running it behind him, because Mr. Obama doesn't even know what planet he's on. Joseph Kane, hey man, good. Haven't talked to you in a long time. How you doing, Joe? Pennsylvania. And what else we got there? So be prepared if something should break out, and there's a good chance that it will. This could lead to something, and you'll need to be prepared for hard times, possibly real high gas prices. I mean, who knows? um, so, well, Cynthia, the truth is, I'd still be here. I would be doing live streams all off and on throughout the day. I'd be probably with you more than I am now, for sure. So um, now I want you to think about this too. If this should happen, this has happened before. Remember, 160 some years ago, 1860, 61, the Civil War. I call it the War of Northern Aggression, but the history books call it the Civil War. There wasn't nothing civil about it, but it was the federal government trying to force its will upon all the states, and they won. And the rest is history. And we've never been the same since. So now I want you to think of this. What if, what if the federal government, and I don't know what the legalities is, but the legalities don't matter to these people. What if a skirmish broke out and there was a standoff between the federal government and the state of Texas? And what if the federal government didn't fire any shots? What if they just said, I'll tell you what, as long as you keep us out and you stand against the federal government, your state's electoral votes will not count in the national election because you're in rebellion against the country. Have you thought of that? You say, well, would that be legal? Well, it's not legal to put people in prison without being charged for the January 6th stuff. It's not legal to put people in solitary confinement without even charging them, forcing them and breaking their spirit until they sign a confession to a lower crime. And there's nothing legal about that. Not legal about busting people's doors in. There was nothing legal about busting into the former President Trump's home and confiscating the legally obtained, legally locked up and protected documents that Mr. Trump had. Nothing legal about any of that. Nothing legal about the FBI being behind the scenes, censoring people, censoring Hunter Biden's laptop and all this stuff. Nothing legal about any of this. So forget what's legal. These people will do whatever they want to do. Whatever suits their need is what they'll do. So let's say, let me say this. Very slim chance, slim to no chance that Donald Trump could win the election without Texas. If you remove the Texas electoral votes from the total, could Donald Trump win the election? So there's lots of things to look at here. Um, and let's say that war breaks out and the federal government wins. They could still, at that moment, they could declare Texas to be a non-state temporarily, right? They could take away all voting rights. Either way, Texas is lost to the Union as far as the Electoral College. Could a Republican president, could Trump win without that state, if there's even an election? Do you see what I'm saying here? There's a lot of things on the table, lots at stake. And now there are up to 25 states, I believe, that have said that they're with Texas. So now that doesn't mean that if the going gets tough, that they'll stay with Texas. It's one thing to say, I think I'm with Mr. Abbott, I'm with Texas. That's easy to say until people are beating on your door and your constituents are mad. You're getting phone calls and maybe they threaten to arrest the governors of these states. And when the going gets tough, we'll see how many of them stand with Texas. So you wasn't expecting all this, was you? See, I sit around here all day, my wheels turn. I can't hardly sleep thinking of stuff all the time. This thing about tech, and I'm all for it, and I think they're doing the right thing. I think we've got to protect our country. I think you can't let the federal government bring combatants and wicked, evil people across your border into our country. Somebody's got to stand up and say, no, that's wrong. Now, what's the Supreme Court going to do next? We don't know. We don't know, but you can't sit around and wait for them. It's going to be a couple months before they're ready to hear that. By that, how many more people are coming in? So who's going to blink first? What's going to happen here? Nobody knows. I'm just telling you, most of the scenarios that I see don't turn out good. Now, it's also possible that the 25 states all decide, you know what, we're all pulling out. We're all going to pull out of this thing, and we're going to start our own nation. Hey, I'm with that. I don't know if it could be pulled off. It wasn't pulled off in 1860. I don't know if it could be pulled off. Is it wrong to try? No, I think we ought to do right. I think whatever's right is what we ought to do. I'm just saying, I'm telling you, be ready. Have it. You ought to already have some things in the pantry. If you've listened to me long enough, you know that. You already should have some canned goods for a rainy day or for some bad times. You should have some cash, as much as you can, that you're safe to hide somewhere. Try to have one of them little fireproof safes at least, so you don't lose it if you have a fire. Put it in a place where no one knows about it except you, and have some cash, because it could be that the banks close. Anything can happen any time now. There could be a nuke go off somewhere in the country. Who knows? There could be band of federal agents going through Texas and causing stuff anytime. And let me say this: they're not your friends, most of them, especially the top tier of those organizations. They are not your friend. Ask anybody that's dealt with them in the last 3 or 4 years. Ask anyone that's had their door kicked in by these thugs. Remember the guy praying outside an abortion clinic? Remember what they did? His fam came in with loaded guns right in front of his children. They don't care about your life. Dragged him off, arrested him right in front of his little kids for praying. FBI. Now, they don't go into drug people's houses like that, most of them. One phone call, that guy would have showed up at the police station. It's not what they wanted. They wanted to put fear in anybody that will stand up against evil. So, civil war, is it coming? I don't know. I don't know. I'm saying it could be. And the first stage is that we can see it here. And there's a standard. And by the way, if Mr. Biden blinks first, if he backs down, he looks awfully weak. And by the way, it won't be him backing down. It'll be whoever's over his shoulder, which we believe is Mr. Obama. and 90% sure it's Mr. Obama. Who's going to blink first? And what is the most profitable scenario for the federal government? They need something. They need a crisis. They need something big enough to affect the voting in 10 or 11 months from now. They need something big. This could be their big thing that they need. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to see what happens. And hey, just be right with the Lord, be prayed up, stay in your Bible, be close to your family, win everybody you can, because we're on the final lap. The trumpet could sound at any moment, or it could be we got a year or two. I sincerely believe it's very possible that 2030 is the middle of the tribulation. I don't know that. I'm just saying. I got a guess there. Michelle says, "Get the popcorn ready." Hey, popcorn's good for you. When times get hard, popcorn's cheap. Have you some popcorn? And Kippy and Frank from Pennsylvania here. And Linda Milan is here. Milan, she's our publisher, by the way. She prints all of our books down in Florida. And I see her. She has snuck in here, I see. And listen, I got to get off here. Van is on YouTube. Oh, no, that's Esther, but I guess Van's on here too. Van is up in Pennsylvania. We haven't met yet. We almost did. I hopefully we'll get to meet here sometime soon. Hey, anything you got, any links, anything you got of what's going on or what you think's coming, share it. Put it on there, and we'll see what happens. And I'll look through it when I get a chance. I've got to get off here. And so remember, no matter what happens, no matter what you think's coming, keep your eyes on them skies.